Dean, thanks again for taking the time on Tuesday to meet with me and talk about Girard Place. Your candor and your honesty really was a wake-up call that forced me to take a long, hard look at what I intend to do in this business. Like you said, I brought the same boring graphs and presentation as the other realtors, and when you look around at some of the other developments, what these other realtors are doing clearly isn't working. So I understand your frustration. The Warfield, that's been on the market the longest, only has 50% of its units sold. The Junction at West Hill has 27 of 31 total units still available for sale. Covington Place has only sold 5 of 25 units. So I agree, if you're expecting different results with Girard Place, you gotta figure out how to think outside the box when presenting this opportunity. You poked a few holes in my approach, so before I share some of my thoughts regarding your development, I'll take a minute to speak to those concerns. The first being lack of experience. Well, I can't argue with that. Although I sell more real estate than the majority of the other realtors, I'm still not at that elite level. And in this instance, I think experience is crucial. That's why, if hired, I'd partner with an elite agent with a proven track record of closing lots of deals, particularly high-end properties. I'd leverage my brokerage, Levin Rinke Realty, and work closely with our marketing department that's on track this year to spend over $500,000 marketing our listings and projects. Most realtors, if they're any good, will talk about their numbers. And I think it's really important to look at numbers not only for the agent you choose to hire, but for that agent's brokerage as a whole. And there's no way to look at the numbers and not conclude that our company, team, Levin Rinke Realty, is anything but number one in this market. Your second concern was a lack of communication skills with high-end buyers. I'm pretty good at articulating a vision and painting a picture of what that vision looks like in a way that inspires other people to act. I've raised over $500,000 in the last few years for philanthropic projects. People with and without money trust me and choose to work with me because I'm authentic, I have integrity, and I'm genuine when I say that my purpose is to make an impact in my community and in the lives of others through real estate. You also mentioned my uninspired marketing plan. I can't argue with you there either. Again, I was confused and trying to do things like the other realtors. And when you do the same things as everyone, you'll probably get pretty consistent results as everyone else. To make real changes in your personal life, disrupt an industry, or even in just a real estate market, you gotta do things differently. You've gotta focus on what it is that makes you special and figure out how to leverage or get really good at that. And turns out it's the same for cities. Places like Savannah and Charleston have exploded because they've recognized that their most valuable asset is their history. And they've grown and evolved with that in mind. To be a city that people want to visit and live in, that city has to stand out somehow. And today, things like authenticity, uniqueness, and sense of place are more important to most people than square footage and comfort. If we had to pick a few things that make our city different, I'd imagine that being America's first settlement would be at the top of that list. Pensacola has an incredible story to tell and people want to hear it. In fact, cultural heritage tourism is the fastest growing segment of the entire tourism industry. So why not leverage that? This is partially why I don't quite understand the logic behind the first sentence in your video.
To create something genuinely new, you have to start with an intent to disconnect from the past.
Our history is what makes us special, and I think it would be the biggest asset and marketing tool for this development. And that disconnecting from the past would be detrimental for the success of this project. In the video, you go on to emphasize Girard Place being a connected community right after you talk about disconnecting from the past. I think there could be an opportunity to leverage your unique understanding of technology in a way that not only brings this development in Pensacola into the future, but celebrates our history and keeps us grounded in the present. This development has the potential to bridge that gap and be a catalyst for revitalization in this neighborhood. If I were investing in this project, the first thing I would do would be to spend some time refining its overarching vision and purpose aside from the bottom line. Although, to be clear, I think that doing so would help the bottom line. I'd also consider rebranding and relaunching for several reasons. First, I don't think the public has a good perception of this project. Seems to me that people tend to have a sour taste in their mouth about it. I could be missing something, but the majority of the articles and social media posts I've read on the project seem fairly negative. I understand that you're not responsible for tearing down the John Sunday house, but I would speculate that most people don't know that. During the initial press releases about the project, there was a group that felt like Girard Place detracted from the character and authenticity of downtown Pensacola. I would expect a lot more pushback from the community than occurred during that initial launch because of things that have been happening like Civicon. With Civicon, we've had some of the best minds in the urban design and planning industry coming to Pensacola twice a month to give talks and host workshops. People seem to be much more engaged than ever regarding the development happening in our city and have been empowered to resist development that doesn't fit certain criteria. Also, I think some of the existing marketing for Girard Place may come off as a bit pretentious and exclusive. What made this neighborhood special at one time was that it was inclusive. I'd argue that you can sell luxury and lifestyle along with inclusivity and probably command a higher value. I don't have a clue if it's true or not, but I read that Stephen Girard was a slave owner, and in reading some of the online comments, people seem to be pretty insulted by the fact that the development is named after Girard, particularly when the project is located in what was once the only neighborhood in Pensacola where Black, white, and Creole people were allowed to interact. In my opinion, I think that if you keep the Girard name, you'd better off to not name the spot after John Sunday. I think people would perceive that as insincere and perpetuating racism. Also, you mentioned doing a press release for groundbreaking as part of the marketing strategy. I agree. I think that would definitely attract some press, but I don't see it being the kind of press that would make people want to buy units. I've got some ideas for how we could generate significant positive press for this project, potentially on a national level, and it wouldn't be expensive. I think that there's some serious obstacles for Girard Place, but I also think there are some even bigger opportunities that could result from overcoming those obstacles. I also think that in doing so, it would allow for a quicker time frame for selling these units. In summary, I'd focus on framing this development as a transformative project that will benefit not just the residents, but the neighborhood and city as a whole. I'd consider rolling out a marketing strategy that focuses on the incredible location and sense of place this development will offer. I've noticed that the content created in our area that goes viral on social media tends to showcase what it is that makes us unique. I'd hone in on those things and use social media as a tool to spread the vision for this project. I believe that for many people, if they believe they're buying into a larger vision, they'll be more likely to consider buying a unit, but not before. I'd test ads, target specific demographics, build lookalike audiences, and be consistent with it. There's so much real estate advertising that people are starting to get numb to it. And in my approach, the focus would be on the sense of place that this premier real estate development would offer. And once someone's interest is piqued, then the discussion about amenities, finishes, and smart homes starts. I recognize that this project would be big for my career, and I'm grateful to be included in the conversation. But I also think you need somebody like me to help change the community's perception of this project and talk intelligently about how it will impact the neighborhood and the city. You need someone that can be a liaison not just to the high net worth prospects, but to the surrounding neighborhood associations and the local government. You need someone that understands why this place is special. You need someone that people like and trust. You need someone to refine the overarching vision of this project and give it a sense of identity and meaning. Ultimately, to pull this off, you need to work with a team of experts. And I have a hard time visualizing a successful project without hiring just the right team. If you're interested in learning more about my ideas or getting together for another meeting with my broker and partner to continue this discussion, please let me know, and I'd be glad to make it happen.